I have to close my eyes in the hopes of willing the sudden sense of vertigo away, but when I open them... Oh, no! Oh, I was not expecting that, I admit. Greetings, my beautiful viewers. I am the Hunter of Comedy, and welcome back to The Letter. Sorry, I tripped over my own words there. It's late, but I'm enjoying this game so damn much. Last time, we got to spend some time with Marianne, saw her, dealing with, picking up the floor plans from Isabella, meeting Rebecca, and, just kind of getting her side of the story. And we finally have one spooky thing with her, because we know that someone is no longer in her life, and I'm guessing that that person either committed suicide, or maybe they were murdered. We don't know yet. All I know is that, something, jumped at her, and that's, it was the creepy ghost lady. But all that can be pushed aside for the moment as we have the most difficult decision in the world to answer: what to do about the black screen. There it is. Okay.
That sounds fair, does it not, Marianne?
I don't know, because I have a feeling that this will make her happy. Yes, it sounds fair, and this will make him happy. Oh, irrevocable choices! Yeah, but I'm still, super good in Hannah's book. I'm still super good. I really wish they didn't look at me like that. This is their decision to make. Yeah, they're staring at me! But if they want to ask for a professional's point of view, I'll be happy to give my 2 cents.
You can still have a garage.
See? Marianne agrees with me. Thank you.
But the structural integrity of the mansion might be at risk if we try to turn the dining hall or any of the rooms into a garage. Taking down one of the exterior walls might hit one of the support beams. And with a mansion that old, I'd rather not risk it, especially without closer inspection. There's always compromise, of course.
I suppose that's better than nothing. Better than flat out saying no.
Mrs. Wright does have a point. There's plenty of space for a garage outside of the mansion itself.
Yep.
If you'd like a covered parking space, we can arrange something on the grounds instead.
Then we better go there. I want to see where we can build a garage.
Yes, no time like the present. You want a thorough inspection? Might as well do it now. We actually took another look at the property yesterday, though it was brief. But I'm sure you would want to see it yourself, to spot anything we might have missed.
It's not like I have much of a choice, do I? Riding to the Ermengarde mansion in their rice is an awkward affair. Not only am I worried about scuffling the expensive leather seats, but I'm also worried about getting in the middle of another of the couple's spat. The mansion's arrangements were discussed over breakfast. During the meeting, the Wright couple had an argument about the mansion's arrangement. In the end, they decided to visit will settle it. With the tension thick in the air, I can feel them starting at each other any time. Nobody is saying anything. Up until Mr. Wright tells his valet to turn the damn radio off. And for a moment, I think he might start. But instead, he stays quiet, and so do the rest of us. in the end, the insufferable silence stays. I have never been so glad to see a house. I mean, me personally, not this house. I don't like this is seeming like a not good idea. Stepping out of the car and up to the mansion meant the end of an uncomfortable ride, and I can finally take a deep breath of fresh air. The beauty of the place never fails to make me gaze and wonder every time I see it as well. Mrs. Wright moves toward the front door, keys in hand, and I can already hear Mr. Wright plotting.
Alright, Johans, we're going to go in, but I want you to look around the place. Familiarize yourself with it. Know every nook and cranny, every inch of the lot. Go and see where we can put that vineyard and the other things we talked about. We'll want to know where to station security as well, so go around the perimeter and figure it out.
Scout the property and circle the perimeter on foot. You do know this is 46 acres of land, sir.
Well, you are not driving a car over the grass. Put those long, spidery legs of yours to good use. I didn't hire you to stand around and look intimidating.
You didn't? I mean, he does that very well.
Go, mush.
Someday I'd like to ask someday I'd like to ask how Johans can even stand and tolerate him. Why doesn't he just quit? Certainly the pay can't be that good. I'm a bit put off by our mutual employer. The only thing that keeps me from bailing is the fact that we've already signed a contract. At least I'll be working with them during the... At least I'll only be working with them during the duration of the project. He works with them every day.
Sometimes I think you hired me to make me suffer for your amusement.
Someday I'd ask. I feel a bit bad for him. If it's any consultation, he'll be away from Mr. Wright, if only for a while. We're able to enter the mansion after a bit of standing out there in the sun. This wretched, strange sunlight is far too alien and rare. God, everyone comments about how the fact of, like, it being, like, sunshiny and nice is bad. Literally, they're like, oh, it's so horrible that it looks so nice. Why? Why is that bad? There had been a bit of a problem with the missus not knowing which key was which. The first item on the agenda would be the grand staircase. It seemed sturdy during the open house, but a closer inspection might say otherwise. There are no obvious marks of damage or wear and tear, probably rethreaded during renovations. Peeking out of the grand carpet, the wood is properly installed with the bark placed down to prevent cupping. The carpet itself could use a vacuum, though. Structural conditions, from what I can see without actually dismantling the thing, look to be in good shape, and the hard rails and support posts are firm. The work on it should be commended. I can't look much more into the rest of the foyer, however, because Mr. Wright starts to hurry us into checking the dining hall.
So, what do you think? Certainly we can't turn this area into a garage.
It's Jacobean architecture. I'd say these would be pilasters and not buttresses, but you never really know. They really liked mixing up these elements. You could say it was pretty avant-garde at the time. We might hit a support beam if we're not careful.
And in layman's terms?
From what I see here, we could risk great damage to the house if we try to turn the dining hall into a garage.
The man didn't look too pleased at this. There's a look of disappointment before he sighs and looks around the place with an air of defeat. When he moves to speak, I dread another unreasonable demand again.
This will stay a dining hall then. But if I may have another request instead, at least spruce the place up with some flowers, some plants or something. It feels so old and dead in here.
That's hardly unreasonable. Daffodils are a must, I presume.
The look that passes between the two of them. There is a genuine look of fondness there. This is the first time I've seen such an exchange between the two. If anyone are to see them like this, there is little doubt that they loved each other.
Of course, and I want a garden full of them. Now, if you excuse me, I'd like to look at the rest of the house. I'll just be around here downstairs, if anybody needs me.
Then, that leaves Mrs. Wright and I.
He's quite fond of them, you know.
I can imagine. He looked terribly upset when we told him he can't have his garage.
I meant the daffodils. We always have a vase full of them in every house we own. Somewhere.
Oh.
I'd like to think. They may be about his mother. He never talks about her. I don't even know her name.
Oh. That's interesting.
He likes to flatter, claim that they remind him of me, but he's always loved the flowers, even before we married.
Much like the piano, I didn't take him for a person who liked flowers. Daffodils, least of all. What's next? Am I going to find out that Mr. Wright saves kittens from burning buildings?
I'll go and snoop about upstairs.
By the way, if he did actually do that, he'd be okay in my book. Until he does something like that, he's not okay in my book.
You go and do whatever it is that you have to do.
When she goes, without even asking if I need her here, I'm left standing to stare at the walls. Really? I don't need to do a thorough inspection of the building itself. It isn't really part of an interior designer's job. But the architect in me is committed to doing this task with every project. If I'm going to make a living space that have both form and function, I may as well make sure that the entirety of it is safe for my clients. This place is not safe. You have not encountered her much, but you will see her. Oh, sadly, you will. Oh, creepy ghost lady, why? Since I'm already here, I roam around the dining hall to check things off my list. Punch list, if you will. When it's time to move on, I hesitate. Mr. Wright said he would be somewhere around here on the ground floor. And I didn't really want to be alone with whiskey. I have to look through the place eventually, sure, but on the other hand, I can do that when he's gone. I can go upstairs if I want to. Ground floor, upstairs. Ground floor is not the first floor. I know that that's a thing, but that's weird to me. Okay, we're going to save. So we're making a choice. We're going to go to the first floor. I've already seen enough of this floor during the open house. Of course, I know this is just a convenient excuse. Mouse is acting up. Sorry. I just don't want to be in the same room as whiskey anytime soon. So I might as well go upstairs first. The banisters on the grand staircase landing are solid and at a proper height. Any lower and they would be trouble. There's a small catch on the carpet though. But as long as nobody tries to run down the stairs until it gets fixed, things should be alright. That's probably where Isabella fell. And the stained glass? Art. Restored, no doubt in the image of the last Lady and Lord of Ermengarde. Where it was supposed to be, until Lady Charlotte's fiancé was brutally murdered. By a witch. A witch of all things, from what I've read. You'd think the historians of this place would be a little more scrutinizing, filtering out that stuff. Okay, so 10 episodes in and we're finally getting more on like what these urban legends are. We know that they're cursed and haunted, but now we're getting that like the last like the lady who was here, like she was like her husband was murdered by a witch. So does that mean that the ghost is the witch, or does that mean that she is like Charlotte Ermengarde? We don't know yet. We're not quite sure. Could just be a random evil spirit too. You never know. I'm amazed they both bothered with it, instead of replacing it with some generic cookie-cutter design. This entire piece alone would have cost roughly 500, even £1 million. Lady Charlotte Ermengarde and her beloved. Looking at the mosaic, it's not too far of a stretch of the imagination to believe that the depicted images could be Mr. and Mrs. Wright. I actually thought that when I like first got here, before I like really got heavily into the game. I kind of thought like, oh, they already have their own like images up, but you know, apparently they're not the same people, which is good because now like seeing them, yeah, okay, like yeah, they look drastically different than the people than Luke and Hannah. It can be easily assumed as such if one doesn't know the history of the mansion. Really, a place like this should be protected by the government as a landmark. But what can I do about it? Oh no, we're in the bad place. Walking into the East Wing, I tried to go into the theater, but is met with an obstacle. The obstacle is locked doors. 2 doors. 2! Both of them are locked. I'd be frustrated. Would be, if I already hadn't snuck off with the Wright while the Wrights were having their little business meeting with Miss Cooper before to take a peek. With what Mr. Wright wanted, we'd have to install a power projector, the type they use in cinemas, and with a projection screen. The seats would have to be reupholstered if they're to be any comfortable, and the walls will have to be covered in dark material, paint, wallpaper, or install wall-to-wall carpeting. Really, of all the rooms I could be jealous of, this hits this one. I could just picture myself here watching old kung fu flicks on a weekend-long marathon. Makes you wonder what kind of movies Mrs. Wright would like. Rom-coms, perhaps? Her husband, on the other hand? I'd rather not think about. In the middle of my notation and planning, I didn't even realize that I'm not alone until I'm caught standing in front of a locked door like a fool.
Were you meaning to go in there? I'm afraid we won't be able to open it up today.
Oh well, I wanted to, but it's fine. I can still survey the rest of the place.
Apologies, but the key was missing when they were handed over. They told us that they'd get right back to us with it.
What? But aren't they supposed to hand over all the keys once property changes hands? That can be grounds to file a complaint.
They were already kind enough to let us move in so early. There's no need to raise a fuss about it. Worst comes to worst, we can call for a locksmith.
The air is heavy and somber when she grows quiet and glances out the window. Toward the vast expanse that surround what would be their house. Their home. Then she looks back at me with a sigh and a bitter smile.
Flowers. Yellow flowers. Daffodils, dandelions, and sunflowers and the sort all up front. Just a whole garden of them. They'll make the house look lovely, won't they?
Of course. A garden is a wonderful addition to any home.
As I say this, her eyes roam over me, scrutinizing and thoughtful. I have to hold back the shiver that threatens to run down my spine at being inspected so closely.
Yes, it must be nice.
We're still talking about the gardens, yes?
I mean, not having to worry about what another person thinks of you.
What do you mean by that?
She lifts her hand and points to her wedding ring before it falls listlessly to her side.
Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I didn't marry Luke. There'll be no fights about walk-in closets or silly helipads. I could do with this place as my heart desires until there's nothing but content. Then again, I wouldn't have bought this place if it wasn't a gift for him. I probably wouldn't even be in Luxbourne if it wasn't for him.
So you wouldn't be caught up in the crazy ghost situation if it wasn't for him. Yeah, it's all his fucking fault.
Maybe I would have moved to London, Manchester, or Birmingham. I might have even left the country altogether. France, Germany, Spain, Canada, Sweden, even America. The possibilities would have been endless.
Even America. Because America is not a fun place right now. I don't know what to say to that. What else is there to say?
I'm sorry, I must sound so petty and ungrateful. I do love him. So very much, even if he can be a bit difficult at times.
Oh no, not at all. I'm just confused why you're telling me this, of all people.
Just a whim, I think. Just flights of fancy, that's all. Don't you ever think about one decision you've made in your life and wonder how much would change if you chose to do things differently?
Yes, there are many choices in my life like that definitely would change my life. Probably not for the better either.
I try not to dwell on the past, ma'am.
The keyword is try, of course. Thinking of the past brings up too many ghosts. Memories of her. I do wonder what would change if I just said yes when she asked for me. Maybe she'd still be with me. I return to the present, just like I said. I try not to dwell on the past. Well, fuck, I didn't expect another choice so soon. Why don't you decide on your own? You must be quite the pair. What seems like the more Marianne thing to say? think why don't you decide on your own? Seems like the more Marianne thing to say. And that was a bad choice, but yeah, she still doesn't hate me. Her worry seems simple enough. I mean, it doesn't have to be difficult as she makes as difficult as she makes it out to be, right?
Why don't you decide on your own?
I meant nothing against Mr. Wright, of course, though whiskey buggered me to no end. By law, she would be owner of the house. Well, unless they signed a joint property ownership anyway, which is a rare thing as far as I know, especially among these highbrow types. Sure, they could actually love their spouse, but I don't doubt the possibility. But money is money, and it makes people do the most horrible things sometimes.
It's your house. You can paint the whole place pink if you want, and there's not much he can do.
Somber expression she has changes to a look of contempt.
I could, but we are husband and wife. Equal partners in marriage, Marianne, though I can see that you don't understand. This is his home as much as it is mine. I'm not going to go behind his back over a room. And how dare you suggest that?
That's not what I meant! How do I even talk her down without causing a further offense? It's in my attempt to shake off my own drama that I end up tripping right into theirs. Because really, I have no business meddling in the affairs of my clients, unless it involved interior design or architecture. Yet here I am, opening my mouth and yapping. I do hate to see a good woman down.
That's not what I meant by it. I just mean that maybe you don't have to get the approval of your husband all the time. Or, well, okay, fine. I know nothing about married life, Mrs. Wright. You're right about that. But I still think you're allowed your indulgences every now and then.
Of course, my form of indulgence meant buying old slate 78 RPM country records. Records which I don't even dare use with my gramophone. For it could very well be in buying entire houses.
That's just my take on it. A perfect relationship is as rare as hen's teeth. You got what you got. I mean, you're doing well enough without my advice. Sure, look it.
That looks to placate her somewhat. She looks away and starts to favor the view outside once more with a faraway look in her eyes.
Feel free to look around the rest of the house. Everything but the theater should be open. Just call if there's need of me.
Of course, Mrs. Wright.
Really shouldn't have opened my big mouth in the first place. This sort of thing only gets me in trouble. Keep it clean, keep it simple, stick to business. That's it. Be professional. If I fail to do that just because of a pretty face. When she turns to leave, she glances back at me before disappearing into the foyer. I look out the window where she was standing, and I move on. Alone with nothing but my thoughts and her.
Finally, some peace and quiet.
Thought the old biddy would never leave.
Oh, it's utter madness, this hearing things. I reckon it's the stress. Though I don't know what exactly I'm stressed about. Like, you know, designing a house is not stressful, even if you enjoy it? If meeting Mrs. Wright has really thrown me for a loop, I'd be worried. If I'm developing some sort of psychosis or disorder, well, I'd call a doctor. But hopefully, it isn't that. Not right here and not right now. I mean, it could just be that personal talking cricket, the conscience, so to speak. And I'm only noticing now, though if it is, it isn't very helpful. Pushing the dilemma of voices in my head aside, I should go back to work. I can barely make it a few steps before everything tilts and shifts. Didn't really stumble, but I feel like I'm being thrown off my feet and the rest of the world just follows. Though my feet stay firmly on the ground, I can't even stay mostly upright. I feel like I've been heaved and put off balance. I have to close my eyes in the hopes of willing the sudden sense of vertigo away, but when I open them... Oh, no! Oh, I was not expecting that, I admit. Well, I don't feel any less sick because of the sight that greets me. Blood dripped from the walls and the ceiling, pooling downwards and seeping into the curtains and the carpet. A wave of nausea, stronger than the last, hits me along with the overpowering stench of blood and gore. I want to bolt. The rational part of my head is telling me to flee. And I would have gladly done as it asked if I didn't hear her.
In here, Marianne. Come on. I have something to show you.
No! I could have ignored it. Would have ignored it. If I only heard it in my head. But I swear this time it's coming from one of the rooms. Much further into the study. I feel compelled to pay attention. I can't just turn around and leave. Yes, you can! This is the perfect time to turn around and leave! Dear God, there are some things you just do not fuck with. In fact, there are lots of things you just do not fuck with. Not when it's her, yes, even if it's her, especially if it's her. If you're hearing the voice of what sounds like your dead friend, maybe you ought to just run. I don't even think I follow the sound of her voice. Oh no. Lorraine. Oh. Lovely Amanda Lorraine Lerzefiona. She was my friend. The only one I had at St. Something's. I was a scholar, the charity case, in a school for privileged and prestigious young girls. They all looked down on me as if they cared to look at me or acknowledge my presence at all. All except her.
Oh, stop your crying. You know better than to listen to Maeve. Why, I ought to teach that butterface a lesson.
Wait, no, lass! I don't want you getting into trouble with the sisters again!
Relax. It's not like I'm going to stomp her and her lackey's arses flat like last time.
Come on, let's just go back to our dorm room. I don't want to be on my Tobler while you go get yourself punished.
You'll be fine. Gip's there with you.
Lorraine was there when I needed her, through my highs and lows. Having her as a friend made being in a strange school away from my father all the more tolerable. She saw this poor, helpless girl who was kept down and shunned by everyone else, and being the kind soul that she was, she rescued me. So brave, so beautiful. She was something else.
I'll eat all the chocolates stashed away in your closet if you go.
I can get more. Just don't go complaining to me if you get a tummy ache because of that.
Well, you don't want to get detention on a weekend, do you? It's a Friday. We can go to town and have some karaoke. And we can have a go at druids and demons again. You're not going to miss that just because of Maeve, are you?
Sometimes I question what I did to deserve a friend like her. In the darkest corners of my mind where traitorous thoughts lurk, I thought she only felt sorry for me. Maybe she was just being a good Samaritan offering a helping hand. And perhaps I had been selfish to return the favor. Too selfish to return the favor.
You have a point. I'll just kick her arse on Monday then.
That's not what I mean.
I know what you mean, Em.
Wait, where are you going? You just told me you wouldn't cause trouble.
I still have something to do. Don't worry. It's not like I'm going to burn down her dorm room or something criminal like that. I'm just going to talk to her. Maybe I'll make it so that her room smells like a dog's air biscuit. That'll make it an excellent weekend. I'll see you in a bit, Marianne. Lots of tumblers.
Because when she told me that she loved me, I couldn't admit that I felt the same way. Oh, so it was... She was the student that committed suicide or died, and Marianne was embarrassed to tell her back. Because more than likely she was just discovering her sexuality and didn't really know or understand it until it was too late. Oh my god, it's so painful. It's so painful, and you know what now? You know what's gonna happen now? Is now they're gonna fucking scare me! I know what's gonna happen! Not to her. Not to myself. I was wrong. I was taught that way. Husband and wife, one man and woman. Unclean. Impure. I prayed for her and I. For our sins and for salvation. I wanted to apologize for disregarding her feelings so callously. It must have been like a slap to the face for her. Because she's Roman Catholic, and that's what they teach you. They teach you that marriage is only between a man and a woman, and that if you dare to love a man or a woman of the same, like anyone of the same gender more than anyone else, you're just automatically evil. There is nothing else to it. You're just evil. And it's just like, no, that's wrong. That's wrong on so many levels, and I cannot believe that people would believe that. I honestly don't. I don't get why people... I mean, like, here's the thing. I'm a straight white male. I am as least stereotypical as you can get, but I support all the people that have prejudice against them because, in the end, you should be able to live your life how you see fit. As long as you're not trying to hurt other people or you're not trying to force your beliefs on them or anything like that, you know, there's nothing wrong with people living their lives. And, you know, God or whatever higher power that everyone believes in, you know, whatever you all believe in, do you really think that, you know, like, God's gonna be upset because people love each other? I mean, like, that doesn't seem like a thing that should be. But I'm not gonna get into that. That's not what this channel is about, and it's not what this game is about. But I like the fact that they're bringing it up in this game, because it's a controversial issue for some people. But I like the fact that they're addressing it. But life had gotten in the way. Exams, which were trivial in hindsight now, took my top priority. I had to keep my grades up to keep my scholarship. For my father. I told myself I would apologize to her when these were over. That I needed to focus first and not let anything distract me. It had been easy when she avoided me like the plague. She was upset. I get that. Oh no. Why am I in here? I thought I had the time to make things right, but...
At 7 in the morning, students found a 5th year dead, assumed to have fallen from her dormitory window.
They told us that it was an accident. That was the official statement. But I knew better. She was dead because of me.
Maeve had a hook and I kicked the bucket, didn't she?
Oh! Oh no! Oh, we're gonna save. We're gonna save because I have a feeling we have a quick time event coming. Hand is on the keyboard. I am ready.
Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Oh my god. She had, though she didn't say which, Lorraine.
But at least Maeve had the courage to admit how she felt about me.
I didn't even know how long I've been stuck here in a trance. In the mirror, Lorraine smiles at me. She's as beautiful as I remember. But then... Ah! I feel bile rise up in my throat as her clean image warps into how she looked when they found her dead lying on the cold, hard ground. Good Saint Defina. Dimphina? Dimphna. Whatever. Great wonder worker in every affliction of her body, and help me. I'm seeing things. I'm hearing things. Am I going completely insane? Looking everywhere but at her. I hope and pray there's enough will, whatever this is, to go away. It doesn't even immediately register in my head that I can just leave.
You, on the other hand, can't even look me in the eye.
This isn't real. You're not. You're dead.
I'm dead. Because of you. And you won't even look at me. Look at me.
Oh, my breathing quickens and I can feel my heart being torn apart by her words.
I'm so sorry, Lorraine.
Look at me!
Isn't she doing that? I can't take it because she's right. It was my fault. The least I can do is look at what I've done. Lorraine, broken and bleeding, looks at me with such hate-filled eyes. An unnatural smile stretches across her face and I can only see malice in it. Oh, then she lunges as the mirror ripples from her form, and the glass parting like the water's surface for her. She grips my shoulders and I can feel her nails dig deep, straight through the fabric of my clothes.
There you are.
Oh god. Oh, AD!
Why won't you love me?
Oh, I did it! Oh. Apologies, spilled through my lips as tears cloud my vision. But I won't give in to this madness. With every bit of strength I have left, I struggle to get away from her. Fear grips and threatens to choke me. I endure, I escape! And without turning back, I stumble back out. In my panic, I don't even care to look where I'm going. With one hand on the wall to steady me, I just hobble as fast as I can away from the study. Away from that mirror. Freedom is bittersweet. I'm free from the madness, it seems, as running out into the hallway reveals it to be in pristine condition. And it means I've turned my back on Lorraine again. I have no plans of stopping, not until I feel I'm safe. If this means walking back to Luxport, as ridiculous as that idea is, then so be it. Someone suddenly grabs hold of me, however. Fear digging into my shoulders. My heart nearly stops. My body seizes and I nearly scream.
Marianne, you look awful. I mean, not awful, but did something happen? Are you alright?
Do not live in this house, lady! God! If I was seeing shit in this mansion, and someone else said they saw a ghost in this mansion, and another person who was a cameraman said he took a picture, and it was like a ghost picture, I would also be like, people shouldn't live in that mansion. Let's go to the U.S. Maybe if we leave town, she can't follow us. I don't know.
Mrs. Wright,
Without thinking, I sought comfort, seeing that it wasn't her. It's a sudden, impulsive thing to do. Had I been in better condition, I wouldn't even dare do such a thing. Oh, that's a nice picture, though. I didn't know what else to do. Though I know I shouldn't, her warmth, her scent, they grounded me. She is intoxicating. Yes, she is.
Marianne, what's going on?
Bad things, very bad things.
Oh, you're shaking like a leaf.
Tremors run through my body as soon as my mind realized I am no longer in danger. I wanted to cry, scream about what I have seen, but like a scared child, I can't control myself. My mind couldn't reconcile with what I had seen. I should just write it off as a figment of my imagination, yet I can still feel her nails cutting into my skin.
Are you sick? Should I call for a doctor?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Wright. Just feeling a little woozy and lightheaded is all.
Let's get you somewhere to sit down then. Come on, don't worry. I have you.
Can you just... I mean, like, my mind is like, I don't want to go anywhere. I want to stay right here. A lie. But a whole less complicated than telling her I was attacked by a dead girl. So, I'm guessing that this spirit is able to, like, get inside your mind and, like, see the things that's, like, you know, that scare you or, like, your traumas and everything and bend them in a way so that they come back to haunt you. That's what my best guess is. I mean, we've already seen that this ghost can manipulate phone calls, like from the very first episode when Rose says she was in the attic. We know that the ghost, it seemed like she possessed Kylie, but I don't know if that really is what happened. But either way, like, this ghost is powerful, man. It is powerful, and that is terrifying. When the feeling of fear eases off, I feel nothing but shame for my actions. Sorry, I have hiccups now. I quickly back away as I clear my throat and nod my thanks.
I think I've had enough looking around.
Good.
If it's all right with you and Mr. Wright, I'll meet you outside.
If you're sure, I'll have the car started. Do you need assistance heading downstairs?
I'm all right, ma'am. Just go on ahead and I'll be right there.
It seems to placate her worries, though only for a brief second. Before she heads down, I don't miss the concerned glance she shoots my way, hidden quickly under another smile. I won't begrudge her for it, that worry. The look on my face must have been a strange enough sight on its own. Even I am still reeling from it, from whatever that was. Her voice still whispers in my ears. After all these years, she's still... No, Marianne! Shaking my head of the thought, I drag in a breath, then follow shortly after Mrs. Wright. Whatever has happened in the past, it's long gone. Only memories now. And those are things I can no longer bring back. Oh god, it's creepy. It's already dark as we make our way out of the mansion. With no lights, we are only illuminated by the lamp heads of the headlamps of the Wright's car and the stars above us. The sight of them helps me compose myself much more than several minutes of being alone did. The car's engine is running, yet the two still stand out on the lawn. Mrs. Wright is busy, eyes up in the stars. Mr. Wright, arms crossed, has his eyes on the ground. It is the crunch of the grass under my heels that brings their attention to me.
About time, what took you so long?
I was attacked by a creepy ghost girl, fuck you!
A minute longer and I'd think the house swallowed you all up.
That's not a funny thing right now! It looks like it's trying to happen!
Oh, hush, dear. I'm sure she has her reasons. Marianne doesn't seem the sort to idle.
Sorry, I was just checking on something important.
See, business is business and they take time, love. You should know that better than anyone. So, Marianne, what do you think? Are you the woman for the job? I know we already signed papers hiring you, but I want to be 100% sure that you are committed.
I glanced back toward the mansion, knowing what I had seen there, or rather, who I thought I saw there, because there is just no way. Not to mention how I acted towards Mr. Wright, for goodness sake. I should feel the slightest bit hesitation. I was lucky. I've seen enough films to know what happens when a promiscuous woman enters a haunted house. This is my chance to turn it down, make excuses, say that I'm not up to the task, that I need to take care of my old sick father. Just pay the fine, which is probably outrageous for a contract like this, and let it go. I should turn it down. But for some obstinate reason I can't. In the same manner I haven't let go of her, of the regret that has shadowed me since that day. As much as I hate to admit it, even to myself, seeing her again, the mischievous glint in her eyes, the loose tendrils of her hair curled up around her forehead, something I've missed terribly. And now that it's here, almost within arm's reach, My father would tell me, sometimes you just simply have to go through with it. Consequences be damned. And well, I really don't have any logical reason to say no. I mean, except for the fact that you were literally just attacked by... You were literally dragged into like an alternate bloody dimension and then attacked by what looked like the spirit of your dead, friend who you had feelings for. So... that's reason? Reason enough for me, of all people. Jesus, I would not go back in that house. At least not something a client like the Wrights would want to hear from a professional designer.
It's certainly an interesting project. You can be sure I'm seeing it through the end.
Such dedication! Oh, I do love the determination.
You were always determined like that, weren't you?
Hearing her voice again sends a chill running down my back. I can't wait for this day to be over. From the mansion and through Anselm, I rode with them in silence. Marianne examined the first floor upon arrival at the mansion. After a small talk with Hannah Wright, Marianne headed for the study. There she saw a ghost of her past reflected in the mirror. Despite that, she gave her word that she would see through the project until the end. But as soon as we hit city proper, I asked to be dropped off and bid them good night. I thought it'd be best if I didn't stay too long in confined spaces with either Mr. or Mrs. Wright. Both seemed to cause me serious trouble, and if the project had been any less interesting or grand, I would have dropped it without a second thought. Would have. Should have. Won't. I assure them that my place isn't that far, and that I have to fight off the urge to roll my eyes and groan when whiskey throws me a little smirk. But even in my own home, peace is elusive, as is sleep. I lay awake thinking of what I saw in that mansion. Of who I saw. If I should so much as hear a single whisper from her. If I so much as see a wisp of her hair, I'm afraid I'll go mad. But none of that happens. And it makes me feel hollow. For 2 nights I've had trouble sleeping. But it's only one morning when fatigue has already let me rest that I'm reminded of what terrifies me so. In my restless dreams I see that mirror, the one in the study. And in it I see her. I see them. Lorraine and Hannah! Oh, fuck, that's not good. Hannah and Lorraine.
Poor pathetic Marianne. Work, work, work.
Oh my god! Oh my god, this is terrifying!
She'll work herself to death.
Yes, she will! No, oh my god, stop this! This is bad!
See? See, she doesn't listen. That's all she did. Look at what happened to me.
They talk among themselves with cruel smiles and venomous tongues. Or rather, to themselves. Oh god, 2 heads, 1 body. How many boobs? I'm sorry, I only see 2 boobs. But like, are there more? I'm not sure. I don't know why this is a question I'm asking right now. It's because I'm a white straight male, that's why I'm asking that question. But no, this is not the questions I should be asking right now. Horrible mockery of these women, as if they were one and the same.
More's the pity. Life goes on and goes out, and she doesn't even see it.
Do you think she'll even realize when she's kicked the bucket herself?
When they say a person has a hard time telling whether they're in a dream, it was true often enough. Even with this bizarre sight, even with the obvious implication that this isn't real, I can't help but feel distress.
Likely. Is that any way to live at all? She might as well be dead.
Oh god, why?
Cruel fate that she's alive and I'm... well...
Though they speak into each other's ears, tones low and hushed, I can still hear them as clear as day. Their whispers pervade the air, heavy and oppressive. They bury and dig into my head like tiny maggots, worming their way into my skull. And there it is, now they're looking at me. I didn't want this. I didn't want to push that button. It's only then that they take notice of my presence. Eyes turn toward me. I can feel small under their scrutiny. Caricature smiles etched on their faces, mimicking each other grotesquely.
Oh, Marianne! How long have you been standing there, dearie?
Long enough, but I don't want to be here anymore.
Come join us, Marianne. We won't bite.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all.
Unless you ask, that is.
That's... I know I talk about having a threesome, but this is not the threesome I wanted.
Have you been looking at us? Spying?
Not spying, you're literally in the mirror. It's creepy.
How scandalous. Such a naughty girl.
You shouldn't be naked in a mirror. That is the weirdest sentence that's come out of my mouth today.
I'm sure you were just waiting for something lewd to happen, weren't you?
She is an anime fan, I'm not surprised. It could be she was, but I doubt it. This whole situation's fucked up.
You know she will not admit it. She thinks it wrong. You've said it so yourself.
Yes. She thought me wrong, impure, abnormal, because I loved her.
Oh, God. Oh, my breath itches and I open my mouth to protest, but they stop me. Screeching! Yes, they are screeching. They're making the O face, and that is not a good face. No matter what anyone on the internet says. The mirror that holds them cracks, lines spidering across its surface.
Do not lie. We know the gluttonous thoughts you try to deny, girl. All those desires you bury beneath that sickening guilt. You act the martyr when you turn the bed you lie in into your own hedonistic hell. You are nothing but a tainted soul with filth-stained flesh held together by falsehood and pride.
This is fucked up. They look livid. And it looks like they would lunge. Oh, good. I awake, feeling like the wind has been knocked out of me. With a groan, I squint and find a certain fluff ball sitting on my chest looking as pleased as Punch. Kitty! Oh, thank you, Kitty. You have saved Marianne. I know you don't know that, but you did. She is the overlady of cats, queen of despair and destruction of nice furniture. Though I can't stay mad at Her Majesty because it feels like she did something good this time. I was having a nightmare. I can't even remember what it was about. I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Trying to recall, it leaves a terrible pit in my stomach. Maybe it's probably better that I don't remember.
Good morning, Baruthio. Who's the good kitty? Are you hungry? Is that why you woke me up?
A content purr comes from my sweet dear before she jumps off the bed and trots toward the kitchen. On the other hand, it takes me a bit more before I roll out of bed and start my day. Mornings before work is always a quiet affair. Shower first, then a mug of coffee and a bowl of oats. Sometimes I do stretches, and I always check my work email. The Wrights will be moving into the mansion today. I don't think the paperwork is officially done yet, but it isn't too far-fetched to think they were allowed to start their move, despite that. There's people like them who will always find ways to get what they want, after all.
I'll be leaving you again today, Beth. So you behave and make sure not to shred up my new covers, okay? And don't worry, I didn't forget tomorrow is Black Cat Day, so I'll throw you a party.
Yay! Is this... When did she meet her with the cat? The day before. So now it's like... the 25th? Think?
But only if you behave like a proper lady.
She barely gives me a glance as I say that before going back to her own food. You know, because cats. Still better than humans most of the time. There's ups and downs. Too bad I have to work with humans. Yeah, too bad you can't work with cats all day, because that would just be... I just noticed this picture here is of her and Lorraine. I just noticed that. Oops. Maybe that's why she keeps having these memories. The place is already busy as soon as I get there. The foreman, one that I've recommended to the Wrights for his work ethic, is early as usual. He's already instructing men here and there with bigger loads. I have no chance to talk to him as Mrs. Wright appears and greets me with a smile.
Mrs. Wright, I hope everything has been to your liking thus far.
Good morning, Marianne. It has been delightful, and these men have been very helpful. Look at all this. It's so busy here. I'm getting tired just looking at them go.
No complications so far with the movers or the previous owners of the mansion, I hope?
If anything, the only one being problematic is Luke, if I'm to be honest. He can be such a diva, but I do like that about him.
She stops, looking at the upper level where Mr. Wright comes through with two other movers and the mirror from the study.
Oh, do be careful with that mirror. We wouldn't want anyone getting hurt because of broken glass. Why are you even having it carried around?
Oh? You did say you didn't want the mirror, and I keep getting distracted by it. If I'm going to turn the study into my office, I'd rather not have it there. Where can we put this?
Well, you are not putting it in our room. Why don't you go, I don't know, put it in the wine cellar for
Oh
now.
no!
We can figure out if we'll store it in the attic or somewhere else later, yes?
You heard her, boys. To the cellar it goes. Mush!
Why? Why the cellar? It's like the worst possible idea. The movers bring down the mirror one step at a time, no matter how much the man tells them to hurry. Oh god, I'm gonna see something. An unsettling feeling grows in my stomach as I see our reflection in the bloody thing. I look away, not wishing to risk anything. If I see Lorraine's image in the mirror now, I wouldn't know what I would do. I don't have the luxury of privacy right now. I am not going to break down in front of all these people. Mrs. Wright only shakes her head and laughs at her husband's antics as they take the mirror out of there. He's back at it again soon enough, pointing the men here and there. I'd say he's a man with the plan, but it's sort of interferes with the layout and design that we agreed upon before. About to point it out, but
It's better you let him realize his mistakes on his own, rather than tell him of them. That way you do not get blamed for his actions. It is more fun, too, to tell him, how does they say it? I told you so, once he slips up.
Been working with him long enough to know that, huh?
it's not like I plan to make too much of a fuss, unless what he changes is actually crucial.
It happens often enough, when one is made to accompany him nearly all hours of the day.
Up, higher. Come on now.
Still, he could be less pushy about things.
Careful now. I know your pictures are framed by cheap plastic, but those are framed by African blackwood and are one-of-a-kind commissioned paintings.
I remember that.
Each one is easily worth a lifetime of what you lot make.
It is surprising how hands-on he is compared to my usual clientele. Well, the both of them are, actually. It's refreshing to have them participate despite their initial reluctance.
Luke, do the dishwashers go into the kitchen or the butler's pantry?
Pantry, Buttercup. Careful, that's Emma. No, you there, put that down. You do not manhandle a Napoleon Abueva.
He really needs to tone down the dramatics a notch. Mrs. Wright and the butler look like they're used to it by now. But the rest of us, well...
Sweetie, why don't we go and sort your suits upstairs? Let your Hans and Marianne and the foreman deal with the rest of the work.
We have this, Mrs. Wright.
Yes, please do go before a blood vessel bursts. Bloodstains are so troublesome to clean.
There is an obvious sense of relief as Mr. Wright is dragged out of the room, leaving the movers to do their work in peace. Some grumbling even comes from some of the younger workers. It's a good thing the family butler isn't some blindly loyal tool to his boss. There will be some trouble with Mr. Wright.
He is such a bratwurst. Whiny baby who never got enough hugs from his mutter.
Probably lost in translation, and not that I'm condoning talking about someone else behind their back, but I think you meant to call Mr. Wright a horrible brat.
Well, he is that too. There are a lot of things I can call him, but I mean to say that he is a big weenie.
There you go. That's what I thought you were trying to say. He's a dick.
A childish name for a childish person. Like a child, he whines when he doesn't get what he wants, and he breaks the toys that he has.
That gets a laugh from me, as well as a few of the movers who linger near. He and I carry boxes, instructing the movers where they should be, and generally taking over Mr. Wright's work. He goes off without a hitch, and the man is helpful, efficient, and capable with physical labor despite his clean-cut appearance. A gentleman to boot, taking boxes from me when he sees me struggling with them. Speaking of boxes...
Hey, one of the boxes for the kitchen is missing. Has anyone seen it? The one with the pots and the knives.
The bratwurst had it brought upstairs, thinking it was for the attic.
Why would he... Oh, never mind. I'll go get it.
No! No! No, no! No, 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 no! No, 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 no! I don't wanna go there. I don't wanna go there. I don't wanna be here. I even bring a box of pots and knives to the attic. That man is ridiculous. There's probably no point in making sense of what he does if he does them just because he can. At least, it turns out, I don't have to make it all the way up to the attic. The mover, probably on Mr. Wright's orders, left the box on the stairs.
At least it's not that heavy.
I managed to hoist it up without too much effort. But the time it takes for me to do that is long enough for me to overhear an odd conversation. An odd conversation I could never in my life imagine coming from the couple like the Wrights.
Why, if you're not careful, I might go a bit loopy and I'll start bringing cats home. And soon enough, one day you'll find yourself going home to a farm just filled with felines that follow you everywhere.
Oh, don't bluff. The things would shred up your precious furniture. Besides, you don't even like cats.
True. Dogs are infinitely superior, of course.
But what about the wet dog smell? The mess. I'm not cleaning up after a mutt, no matter how cute. If you think about it, a cat would be better.
For once, I'll have to agree with Whiskey on this one, though I can live with Mrs. Wright being a dog person. But as amusing as this conversation might be, I really shouldn't be caught eavesdropping or slacking off on the job. At most, I should be looking at ways of possibly soundproofing certain rooms, perhaps bringing it up if they don't realize the lack of it. I should move on. Relationship improved with both of them! Good! I didn't say before that decision, I really should have. I really, really should have, but it's too late now. No matter how bizarre their conversation might be, I really must go. Not to mention just standing here when I have no reason to loiter just feels wrong. Besides, the magic word here is privacy, and I respect that. Keep in mind, I won't have a guilty conscience filled to the brim with secrets of the rich and famous in my hands. I'd take the stairs two at a time if I wasn't in danger of getting stabbed by my baggage if nobody else was in the foyer. But as Johann takes the box from me, I give him a small smile. There is no reason to gossip about the peculiar conversation of his employers. He probably heard much odder things from them. He doesn't seem to be a cat or dog person either. As soon as I follow him to the kitchen, he raises a hand to stop me.
Nine, I know you are very skilled in architect, and I have seen your work, but this shall be my kitchen, and I shall fix it according to my wishes. Yeah?
Kind of weird. Anyone would think that pots and knives are supposed to go anywhere but the kitchen, huh?
I assume he's gotten them confused. It wouldn't be the first time.
Confused? How does that even work? I understand covers, carpets, or even curtains getting mixed up. Hey, I'd even understand pots being mixed up with silver decor. But knives?
Oh, he has a collection of ornamental ones from his father. It takes them everywhere he goes, wherever he moves.
I guess that makes sense. A bit. Still odd.
He really shrugs before going back to work. The movers work efficiently even when they're alone, and they do a quick work of their responsibilities. The head foreman comes, standing in the doorway to consult me on this or that, and I have to go out and help every now and then. But they pretty much have everything up to standards. They skip lunch entirely, not even realizing when they did so. Nevertheless, all is well as the butler gets to heating up the leftover bubble and squeak from breakfast and makes a generous batch of fish and chips for them. Good butler. Most likely simple in comparison to what he serves to the Wrights, but, well done nonetheless.
That smells good. Want to wrap up some for me to go?
It's an idle observation more than anything. My thoughts, as they are, preoccupy me.
If there are any left. One can't go wrong with fish and chips. Everyone loves them. Even my husband. And he's American.
I really do hate getting so up close and personal with my clients. It's a distraction. It's obvious to me that I've gotten my priorities all wrong when I can't help but think what I heard, what I learned about the Wright couple. These things have a way of creeping up on a person. Thoughts, ideas, whether they are fact or fiction. They creep up and fester, crawl and writhe in ways that twist. I hear giggling, delighted and mocking. They creep up and the sensation of fingers ghosting briefly on my arm causes me to freeze and hiss.
Don't!
I half expect her to be there.
Whoa, no need to scream bloody murder. It's just me. Quiet down before you break glass.
But it's just whiskey.
Don't do that again. Ever.
I don't like being scared. Though I don't believe in the likes of spooks, being startled is on top of my list of things Marianne liked? Is not on the top of the list of things Marianne liked. You don't believe in spooks, and yet, after everything that happened, you're not believing? God damn. Lucky for him, I have nothing in reach, or I would have gotten on friendly terms with something like a rolling pin.
What was with that reaction? Were you really scared? Has Johann's been telling you ghost stories? He just loves to scare people. Isn't that right, Brother Gurium?
The bullet's expression is unreadable. I hardly see any emotion on his face to begin with, since I started working for the Wrights, aside from vague amusement. There must have been something there, judging from Mr. Wright's own content look. The expression on Mr. Wright's face is almost cruel. But neither of them speak as Johann leaves the room to serve the workers their late lunch.
So, now that we're alone, Marianne, what are you so jumpy for?
I was just thinking about all the urban legends the movers have been telling me about this place.
Don't tell me you believe in that tosh. They're nothing but tales made up to scare children.
And they work! I am apparently a child, because after everything I've already seen, I am fucking terrified.
Timmy, Billy, don't you dare go up to that big mansion and get in trouble there. The ghosts are going to get you.
That's a boring way to look at it, but that's usually what it is anyway, no? Like I said, I was just thinking.
It would be a relief, actually, if those rumors of this place being haunted is true. That just means I'm not going bonkers. Hearing, let alone seeing a dead person isn't exactly the symptoms of a healthy mind. Oh, I get it. She doesn't think it's a ghost, she thinks that she's going insane. That makes sense, actually, considering, God, all the guilt she feels. Sure, it means there would be such things as ghouls and goblins, but at least I'd be sane. On the other hand, there would actually be a dead girl walking around, which there already is.
If you could excuse the inane question, Mr. Wright, you haven't noticed anything weird here?
A simple question on the surface, yet I notice the man stiffen as the question leaves my mouth. I wouldn't have noticed it if I wasn't watching his reaction intently, but in his eyes I see something dangerous.
That depends on your definition of the word weird. Are we still on the topic of this place being haunted? Because no, things have not started to fly around and we have yet to require an exorcism. I don't think my head would like to do the whole 180-degree turn thing.
Well, maybe that, but no strange people?
Aside from my usually weird butler and all the weird men traipsing around touching my things? No, not really. Why do you ask? Have you noticed anyone strange while you were here? Because you must report it to Johans and he'll have security handle it. But these reports better not be about ghosts and things that go bump in the night. I don't want to waste manpower on the boogeyman or senseless witch hunts.
I'll keep that in mind, Mr. Wright. But no, it's nothing like that. I guess the mansion is just strange for me. It's a unique project.
No strange men or women lurking about then?
The teenager would technically qualify as strange. But yeah, the whole I see dead people thing isn't going to go over well.
None that I know of. But I'll inform Johans immediately if something comes up.
I'm serious, Mint. You see anything, anyone suspicious, and you report it. Immediately.
I think that goes without saying.
The concern he has on the talk of security is quickly gone. His arrogant, smug smirk returns, if a bit subdued. Whatever smarmy remark or innuendo he has at the ready never comes through, as voices from the dining hall ring out.
So, is this a full-time job for you then?
Nah, I just freelance mostly, for magazines, newspapers, and events. So you can't really call it a full-time job. It's fun and it puts food on the table, but it's not what I really want to do. At least not all the time.
That would be the magazine photographer, I presume. As always, Mrs. Wright talks in such a kind and cheery fashion, no matter who she's talking with. This certainly puts people at ease around her. Sounds like it's working on the photographer, too. Hearing them, though, it seems to put Mr. Wright in a sour mood. It's as if a small scowl is... at least if a small scowl is anything to go by. Is he jealous? Well, sadly, I think we're going to have to save this decision for next time, because we are all out of time for this episode. Yeah, oh man. I had a few longer episodes earlier, but I'm trying not to have these episodes go too much longer than, around like an hour and 15 minutes. I had a couple hour and 30-minute episodes, so yeah, this episode's going to be close to like an hour and 15. Maybe I won't know until I edit it. But I'm not one to take too terribly long, but I don't want to go too long either. So I will just say thank you everybody so much for watching. I appreciate you being here with me. Next time we're gonna see what we can do to make Luke feel better. I don't know why that's a thing I'm doing. I don't like him, but Marianne apparently feels the need to. So that's gonna happen. And I guess we'll get more into this mystery and try not to be scared by dead girls. Ugh. Marianne's story was so much deeper than I thought, because here's the thing. What little bit I learned about Marianne, she seemed like an interesting person. And then it's like, so she can sing, she's obviously bisexual. Like, that's what's obvious, that she's still attracted to men. However, she was in love with this girl, Lorraine, and just because of her upbringing as, you know, I believe she was Roman Catholic. Let's double check. Yeah, because of being raised as a Roman Catholic, you know, like I said, they drill that stuff into you. Like, you know, any sort of infidelity is evil, and you are evil if you do it, so, yeah. It's a shame she couldn't follow her true feelings, though. We should all have the freedom to follow our true feelings, I think. But, enough of the somber mood. Thanks again, everybody, and until next time, have yourselves a beautiful day, my beautiful, beautiful viewers.